This is Shandon, one of the oldest parts of Cork City, full of history and fascinating stories. Let me take you on a walk through Shandon to explore some of its most iconic places. The best way to explore Shandon is to start here at Pope's Quay. Despite what you might think, the name has nothing to do with the Pope. It was named after a wealthy merchant woman, locally known as Widow Pope. She built a quay outside her premises, and that's how the name Pope's Quay came about. Crossing Shandon Bridge will bring us to one of my favorite spots in Shandon, Mayo Cafe. I think it's the best place in Cork City to enjoy a cup of coffee and the view of the River Lee. Let's move along the quay where St. Mary's Church stands. Dominicans have quite fascinating history in Cork. They first came here in 13th century, just 8 years after their founder, Saint Dominic, died. For centuries, they moved around the city for various reasons, before finally settling here at Pope's Quay. The foundation stone for this church was laid in November 1832, and it opened in 1839. Part of St. Mary's is the Dominican Priory, built 11 years after the church. This 3-story sandstone building features a striking corner tower, timber sash windows, and slate roofs. Together, the church, the priory, and the Shandon Bell Tower create quite an intriguing view of Shandon. Right next to the church stands one of the oldest houses in Cork City, the Civic Trust House. Its beautiful red brick facade always makes me stop whenever I pass by. Today, it is a shared space for culture and art. Let's head back to Mayo Cafe and climb the Witherlings Lane, which will take us up to Shandon. Without a doubt, the most iconic landmark in Shandon is the bell tower of St. Anne's Church. It's a truly remarkable structure. Songs, poems, paintings, you name it, the Shandon Bell Tower has inspired them all. The clocks and the main entrance are currently undergoing so much needed renovations. It makes me think, might this be the end of the 4-faced lyre? That's what locals call the clock tower, since each face has always shown a slightly different time. Beside the church is Dr. Mary Hearn Park, a peaceful memorial garden created from an old graveyard. Dr. Mary was one of Ireland's first female doctors. The park retains gravestones from the 18th and 19th centuries, with new paths, seating, green spaces, and areas for quiet reflection. Today, it offers a calm space that honors her medical legacy. Next we come to Skiddy's Almshouse, built in 1719 as a home for Cork's poor and elderly. Its unusual name comes from Stephen Skiddy, a Cork man who became a wealthy wine merchant in the 16th century London. In his will, he left an annual fund of £24 to support the almshouse. And remarkably, that money has been paid out for over 400 years. Let's now climb up to Shandon Tower for a fascinating view of the city. While we take in the view, let me share a few interesting facts about Shandon and the bell tower. The Shandon takes its name from Irish Shandún, meaning Old Fort. As the name suggests, there may once have been a fort here, long before the Normans. Shandon also once had a castle, built in the 12th century by the de Barry family. Later, it became the residence of the President of Munster, before being destroyed in the Siege of Cork in 1690. The Shandon Bell Tower was completed in 1722, and its bells, known as the Bells of Shandon, were added in 1750. There are 132 steps to the top, and on the way up, you can even stop to ring the famous bells yourself using the pulling mechanism. Cork was once the largest butter market in the world, exporting to countries across Europe, the United States, and even India and Australia. The Butter Museum tells this story. Inside, you can explore Cork's dairy history, learn about traditional butter making, and see how this product helped shape the city's economy and reputation abroad. While making this video, news came out that the Butter Exchange will be transformed into a community and enterprise hub, which is quite exciting. Part of the butter market was Firkin Crane, a building opened in 1855 with a special name. Firkin is a Danish word meaning a quarter barrel. These firkins, or casks, were once used for transport. Each was carefully weighted on a large balance known as a crane, which gave the building its unusual name. Today, the Firkin Crane has been transformed into a center for dance and performing arts, bringing new life to this old building. At the very top of Shandon stands the Cathedral of St. Mary and St. Anne, known to locals simply as the North Cathedral or the North Chapel. This remarkable cathedral was once destroyed by a devastating fire, leaving only the shell of the structure behind. But it rose again, rebuilt with the striking mix of sandstone and limestone. Today, it stands proudly at the top of the Shandon. Close to the cathedral, Nano Nagle established one of her schools, walking here each day from her home on Quay Street. In 1799, a number 2 became the first home of the North Presentation Sisters, who lived in cramped conditions upstairs while running a school downstairs. And nearby stands a beautiful red brick and limestone presbytery, built in 1878. Rich with stone carvings and ornamentation. Shandon Street was once one of the most important streets in Cork City. thanks to the booming butter trade in 18th and 19th centuries. Interestingly, during this time, there was a big contrast in living conditions. Wealthy merchants lived in fine houses along the main road, enjoying the profits of Cork's success, yet just a few steps away, and narrow side lanes were crowded with families living in poverty and poor conditions. The closure of the butter market in 1924 marked the beginning of a long period of decline in the area. Today, however, Shandon Street has come back to life. It's a lively street once again, home to annual festivals such as the Dragon of Shandon, the Spirit of Mara Jones, and the Shandon Street Festival. Back in the Pope's Quay stands the Place of Peace, created by Mayo Cafe. It's a place to stop and reflect. A wall installation here is decorated with hand-molded clay tiles, each carrying traditional and international symbols of peace. Shandon is not only rich in history, it's also alive with street art. Look at all these beautiful murals. Witherlings Lane in particular has become an urban street gallery with so many gorgeous art pieces. This brings us to the end of our journey through Shandon. And I have a question for you. Have you ever visited Shandon yourself? Did you ring the famous Shandon bells? And is there any detail or story I might have missed? I'd be really interested to hear. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.